Well, yeah, okay. I am sorry, but today we really need to talk about it. We can't avoid it. It sometimes doesn't make sense. It is funny. It is sad. It can mean everything. It defies logic. It is everywhere. But then again, it really doesn't exist at all. Sometimes we worship it, and sometimes we abhor it. We can be deceived by it, and yet sometimes we learn of truth and justice through it. It is in the marketplace. It's in our cell phones. We can see it on TV. We can be manipulated by it on our computer. Sometimes we trust it absolutely, but then it lets us down because it can't do or explain everything. It can make us feel worthy or unworthy. It can help our kids, our friends, our neighbors, but it could hurt them too. We want to take it seriously. Hey, don't play with it, but not too seriously. Hey, have some fun and enjoy it. Can't touch it, but we could damage it. Okay. I suppose there's no point in continuing to wallow in it. So let's just say it is too difficult and move on and talk about this. Okay, I can see from your faces you really wanted to continue to talk about it. But I promise you, you might like this better. This could help with the doom and destruction that today's gospel has Jesus portending at every turn. Buildings blasted apart, famines and starvation and plague. Riches raised up and justice cast aside. Arrests and persecutions and the revolt of the natural world, earthquakes, unprecedented weather events, rains and floods and hurricanes of deadly magnitude. I don't think, like the disciples, we need to ask, when will this happen? But the good news is we have this. This, my brothers and sisters, is togetherness. Togetherness isn't a word that crops up all that often, and I seem to hear it mostly starting around this time of year as we anticipate Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, Kwanzaa. What's so special about this? Togetherness is the this that defies hate and war and destruction. Empire may rise against empire, but we can vitiate such damnable enterprises with our unique capacity to join together with one another in the warmth of spirit that togetherness implies. Even if we have felt in these times, and we might have, that we have been betrayed by parents, brothers, sisters, relatives, and friends. This can be the healing ointment. No bitter destructiveness can quench loving togetherness. Because nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. See the disabled car on the side of the road, and see the several people who have stopped to help, not just attending to the needs of the driver and the passengers, but actually supporting each other as well. See the one who steps up to an ICE officer and asks him to show his credentials, and see the other people who come to immediately join her. See the people who join together to help save little campers in Texas from a terrible flood. And see the people who gather to rescue a family vacationing on the Carolina coast as their rented house collapses. See decorated veterans and tattooed pierced teenagers gather in protest to protect our country. And recall the story we heard just a couple of weeks ago. Pam, it might have been you who shared this, about folks in a car who shouted and gestured menacingly at some No Kings protesters. And one protester called out to the car, "I love you." For those who are able to recall it, think of the national anthems at the opening game of the World Series. I sent that out. You might have seen it. Did you hear the incredible swell of Canadian and American voices harmonizing to eclipse tariff disputes and tyranny? And the massive crowd joined in singing both anthems. There we were one. Together in our love of the game, maybe, or merely our love of voices lifted to vibrate through every soul. On a more personal note, I humbly ask you to see me. I'm supporting my wife, Stephanie, who has suddenly become weak and stumbling and disoriented on our daily walk, as I struggle to help her to the curbside to wait for the ambulance. A runner veers from her run and hurries up to us. She stays, helping me, keeping Steph upright, and speaking comfortingly and reassuringly to us. In the moments before I leave to follow the ambulance, she and I exchange a few parting words. Hers of encouragement, mine of gratitude. We hug in parting. This moment knew no politics, no religion, no creed, no belief. But the moment did know this: togetherness. And now, especially witness the energy that rises as we pray together in community. And mark, we do not all hold the same image of the divine. We do not all pray in the same way. We are not all marching to the same drummer. We do not have to have a likeness to create togetherness. Richard Rohr says, we are too often exposed to the common way that cultures try to create unity, what Rene Girard called the negative unanimity around one. You can either rally around love to unite, or you can rally around fear, gossip, paranoia, and negativity, usually symbolized by one issue or person. Negative unanimity is more efficient and gathers groups much more quickly and tightly than love does. And Rohr ends poignantly, "I wish it were not so." A couple of weeks ago, Adelaide Spear spoke compellingly about the binary of good and evil, you recall? The quaint notion of opposites operating in exclusion, contending and marking out the territory in the human soul. An idea feasted upon yesterday and today by religious institutions, empires, politicians, and gospel writers alike. So, in light of that toxic binary and Rohr's pessimism, I found myself considering togetherness with its cousin, solidarity. Because togetherness is not quite the same as solidarity. In the Gospel according to Polly, togetherness has wings. Solidarity has weight. So I looked up synonyms and connotations for both words, togetherness and solidarity, and indeed there are similarities, of course, but many contrasts. Solidarity, agreement, concord, undividedness, esprit de corps, teamwork, adherence, exclusivity, conflict. Some potent, almost militant connotations. And moreover, in contemporary usage, solidarity has been increasingly appropriated by political and social activist movements. Togetherness, attachment, community, warm fellowship, neighborliness, cordiality, communion, reciprocity, welcome. Pretty open-hearted connotations. I do not mean to praise one thing and damn another. But I believe the distinction between the two is important. Because language is a behavior that creates, defines, regulates, and sustains human relationships. Whatever fields of stubble we're standing in, whatever struggles we have, what might be possible if we could seek ways in our thoughts and in our speech to trade in the word solidarity and the emotions that it sparks for this, togetherness. All alone, all alone. Nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone.